Okay, guys, I'm over at my friend's house and I am wanting to do today's vlog on The Struggle is Real. This is for April 5th, 2025. When things go wrong. My friend has left me here for a minute by myself, so I'm going to try to get this done. She may be walking in the door when I'm in the middle of reading this, and if she is, that's okay. But I want to go ahead and get this done. I am hoping that I can do some videos for you today of her apartment and what we are doing at her apartment. So with that said, let's get started. When things go wrong, have you guys ever had anything go wrong in your life? If you haven't had anything go wrong in your life, something's wrong with you because things go wrong all the time, don't they? And so let's read on and see what God says about this. I wasn't allowed to date until I was 16, and I can remember my first date like it was yesterday. Me too. He was a junior and I was a sophomore, and he came from a good family. He picked me up and took me to Old Country Buffet. That sounds good. I haven't been there in a long time. I got out of the car and he locked the doors and he shut his door. I shut my door, but when I went to walk away, I was confused because I didn't go anywhere. Quickly, I realized that I shut my fingers in the door. Oh, ow. When this is your very first date, you want to be cute. This moment was anything but that. My date didn't realize that he was walking into a building and I was not with him. And my hand was stuck in the door and that I couldn't open. So I did what any other calm person would do. I started screaming like I was being murdered. If I could have fallen on the ground and rolled around, I would have. He came running back to the car and had no idea what was wrong with me. He finally put together the word that I was screaming at him. He frantically tried to open the door, and it took him a minute to realize the door was locked. And the door was finally opened. My excitement for that date had been drained out of me. This was not how I imagined things going. I can imagine that she was thinking of all this in slow motion, but this was only a few seconds that this happened. Reminds me of my story of my dad on his date. When he was younger, he told me this story and it stuck with me, but it was a story of him and his date going to Pizza Hut, and there was candles on the tables back then, and his date's head caught on fire, her hair, and he was beating her upside the head trying to get the fire out. I think I've said that before in this my videos here on YouTube, but I can't imagine being on like a first date and all this happening to you, where you're stuck in the car or you're beating your date upside the head because her hair's on fire. Oh, can't imagine. I think we've all had expectations about how some things would go in our heads, that they're romantic and they're so beautiful, and then reality kicks in, and the next thing you know, you need help carrying your food tray at Old Country Buffet on your first date because you can't use your hand. Sometimes reality isn't pretty. Actually, most of the time, reality isn't pretty at all. So what do we do when things go wrong and they don't go as we planned? Well, sometimes I have a temper tantrum, and then I have to make peace with the fact that God knows what he is doing. It says in Isaiah 55:8-9, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways, declares the Lord. The heavens are higher than the earth, and my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." These verses bring peace, but also a little frustration, because we are wired with the desire to know all the answers all the time. And nowadays, in the year 2025, we want it done, and we want it answered, and we want it right now. We are creatures of habit and we don't like change, but when we have a picture of how things are going to play out in our mind, we get frustrated if it doesn't turn out that way. I've learned in times when things go wrong that I have to ask God to give me eyes to see the things the way He sees them, to give me the peace with the things that I don't understand, and my thoughts would be His thoughts. He created everything so that I can be at peace knowing that He knows what He's doing. I can place my confusion and my pain in His hands and know His ways will prevail. I can't tell you how many times I've had a dream scenario planned in my head with how things would work out, and then the complete opposite happens. It can be crushing, but in God's goodness, He takes the crushing situation and works it out to do something beautiful in the end. It always ends up glorifying Him. He has worked things out in such a way that I have no explanation. Then I had nothing to do with that. It was all God. Today, put the broken and the messy situations of your life into God's hands. Remember that His ways are higher than our ways and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. Pray that He will give you understanding and the eyes to see the things the way He sees them. For a reflection, what are some dreams that you've had in your head which didn't work out the way you thought they would? How did you handle the disappointment? How did the situation turn around? Or are you still in the waiting season for them to work out? Extra credit. Ooh, I like extra credit. Every time things don't go as planned, write them down in a journal. Pray that God would give you eyes to see the way He does and work out all for His glory. Then, when the situation turns around, go back to the entry and write the date and the circumstances of them turning around and how God was glorified. This gives you the ability to see how God has worked things out and builds your faith for the next time it happens. This is also really good to do for prayer requests. If you have a prayer request that is something that has been answered, you can have an answered side to your prayer request also. It is really good to see how God has answered your prayers. So, nope, she's not back yet. So it's on to cleaning. I am going to be working on my friend's apartment this evening, and I'm going to go to church with her tomorrow, and super excited, you guys. I'm getting things done and I'm feeling great, and I'm just very excited about life right now, and we have a lot to do and a lot to talk about coming up in the near future here on YouTube, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.